Hello, everyone. Hi. So, as everyone knows from the long tradition of Thank God It's Almost Friday at Google New York, this is normally an internal event. But when it came time to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Google Engineering in New York, there was one special outside person we couldn't resist inviting to join us, himself an engineer, and what I would call New York's tech mayor, Mayor Michael Bloomberg.
Well, Ellen, thank you. You know, it's a miracle I made it here. I was using Apple Maps by mistake, but I could not miss the opportunity to congratulate Google for 10 incredible years of growth in New York City. It is an opportunity that I would not miss, and I figured if I showed up, maybe I could move up the list to get a pair of glasses. Actually, I wear contacts. Is that the same thing? Can you do that on my contact lenses? Not yet, but it will happen, I'm sure. It's been a remarkable ride for Google and for New York City together. The last 10 years have made an enormous difference in this city. 10 years ago, there was a single Google engineer here, and your engineering director, Craig Neville Manning. And back then, a lot of people were skeptical, yes? Back then, a lot of people were skeptical that Google or any promising tech company, for that matter, would be able to attract enough engineering talent to survive in New York and to make it an IT hub. But people also thought the dot-com bubble was the end of the tech industry in New York back then. Most of you aren't old enough to remember 2000 when it all came down. I got to tell you a quick story. I started my company, and you're not going to believe this, but PCs didn't exist, and the internet didn't exist. And when I got fired from Solomon Brothers, I started this company, and on Saturdays I drove up to Connecticut. I had an engineer. We designed our own hardware, what you'd call a PC today, and my job was to solder capacitors and resistors into the circuit boards. And then the internet didn't exist, so we would rent a line from here to Chicago. I'd go out to Chicago, find somebody who would rent us a closet. We'd get other lines coming in there. We had a mux, and if anything went down, they had to wait till I could get out to Chicago, because I was also the service guy. And then along came PCs, and I said, we can't compete with this, so we moved our stuff over to PCs. Along came the internet. We got rid of our own private network. And it just goes to show in a very short period of time how things constantly change. And one of the great things about Google is you guys are never settling for what you have now. You're always looking for tomorrow. And that gives me great hope that Google is one of those companies that's going to really continue to make a difference. It'll provide employment, but more importantly, it's going to provide the products that we need going down the road. 10 years after you started, things are very different here in the city. You have a big home, 3,000 employees here. We are bringing some high-tech graduate schools to New York City. Cornell and the Technion is going to make an enormous difference. Yes? I'm sorry that Stanford didn't choose to compete, but I'm going out to give the commencement speech this year at Stanford, and I'll remind them of that. The tech future, I think, for New York City is very bright. What New York has to offer that Palo Alto doesn't and lots of other cities, we have a very diverse population, and we are the center of an awful lot of industries. For example, you don't think of us as the fashion capital of the world, but we have double the number of fashion houses that Paris does. People do think of us as one of the media capitals, but you don't think of us as the film capital. There'll be as many movies made this year in New York City as there will be out in LA. And you go right down the list of all of these industries. So if you're going to build products, you've got to be where the markets for your products are. And that's what you can't get anyplace else. You can't get the different views and the different cultures and the different interests that you can get here in New York City. So this is the place to be. And I've said before, my company never would have been anywhere near as successful if we'd started it anyplace else. So I just want to stop by, congratulate all of you. It's another place I've come. I had to sing for my supper, but I don't get any food. But I'm going to wind up at the Knicks game tonight, where I'll have 3 beers and 3 things of popcorn, and hopefully they won't get eliminated. But any of you, if I see you at the Knicks game, wave, and I'll. Can I try the glasses on?
Yes.
That's what I'm. Well, it says it's 5:48. Okay, glass. Ah, it did work. Look at this. Take a picture.
Excellent.
Okay. Yes, I have a picture. That is amazing. You guys should go into the tech business and make things like this. So, right. Well, I actually did try a pair on about a year ago, but it didn't work. This works. So congratulations to all of you. All kidding aside, I'm your biggest fan. I think you've got a wonderful company, and you're all going to have great jobs. And for the rest of your life, let me just tell you, you want to live in New York City. You don't want to live anyplace else. All of us. They want me to cut the tape. Done that. You should never do that. I'm just showing you. It's a violation of some health law.
Only if you do it twice.
Only if you do it twice. Okay.
Years and life for you.
We're all going to cut?
Yeah, I think we're gonna
How are we
cut.
going to do this?
By neighborhood, I think. I take Tribeca.
But here's where I live. Right about, right there. Cutting and paste. Ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3.